No, you go first. You go.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Jana. Let's start by just introducing each of us. So I'm Jana. Also, we don't have Nizar here, which is also here with us because we couldn't run in time. But we were really looking to have a guy here with us so we can make this really an inclusion moment. But just saying about
Yay! Let's go.
This is inclusion.
yeah, let's go. This is the moment. I'm Jana. I am a content creator from Brazil, so that is the accent. And I still live in Brazil. I basically nowadays maybe you can call me influencer. Create content about Web3. I try to empower basically everyone. I am also a mining engineer. I work in the field in engineers, so I truly understand what it is to be a woman in the man kind of life. So I get it. And I think the best thing now that we have in Web3 is like we are into a moment where we can really empower ourselves, be all together, and change everything, and let's fucking go. But yeah, keep it up.
Yes, hello everyone, thank you for being here. My name is Vanessa Kamakato, also known as Van Synchro. I am a digital artist, also AI engineer student at the University of Advancing Technology, and also the co-founder of the Women in Tech Museum and Showcases as Paladin Campus. So thank you so much for that. We've been hosting since 2022 on March 8th, International Women's Day, to celebrate women. And not only just on that special day, but every day. And this is the perfect panel for us to speak. And even though I am the founder of the Women in Tech, our mission is as well to include everyone, right? To be heard and work together. So thank you.
All right, let's do Nizar now. So we mix it up.
Let's make inclusion go.
Yeah, so, my name is Nizar, and I'm not a woman.
Thank you, thank
No,
you.
I wish I was, to be really honest. So I am what we call in this space an OJ. I was the first person to create an NFT fund back in 2021. I raised $2.7 million to buy pictures that were valued at some point more than $12 million, which was pretty cool. And then the crash happened, and it was not cool anymore. So the learning curve was fantastic. I am the co-founder of Banana Corp, which is also the builder of Banana Conference, which is the biggest Nordic and Eastern Europe event. We do Web3X Fashion, which is the first dedicated Web3 event for fashion. We do that in Milano in September during the Fashion Week. And we do other bunch of events with the watches in Zurich, wine and spirit in France, and a lot of different things.
Amazing. Thank you. Nama, and home for me is Los Angeles. And so I have a really big career in Web2. I am in benefits and health insurance, one-stop shop for healthcare globally, inbound, outbound, finding solutions for employees and Medicare for people who are over 65, and we are also storefront from California. So I am in a business that controlled mainly by men. So I am, like Jana, very used to being in minority. But it empowered me. It wasn't weakened me, it empowered me. I'm an artist in heart. I was born an artist. But you could never know that, because if you wouldn't visit me in Los Angeles, you wouldn't know that I'm an artist. People that know me for years come and say, "Oh my God, you are an artist."
Just gonna look at you. You know you are.
So the first, so I became very active since COVID. The first clubhouse room, it was many of us on that room, and we learned together what is an NFT, and I became an NFT advocate and part of the community, and being very advocating for the blockchain, Web3, and especially empowering women, because what I'm seeing in the space is we have a lot of women. There are lots and lots of women, but I don't see ownership. I don't see, like, show me the money. Who owns what? You know, I don't see alpha. I don't see the connection that the masculine energy has in the industry. So for me, part of what I'm doing right now is moving Web 2 to Web 3. So I'm educating a lot of Web 2 with what is Web 3 and the blockchain, and I've been also implementing meditation and yoga into the US healthcare for many, many years. I lead meditation, and I think that it's all on basically 3 levels, and I'll talk about it. But for me, it's not having the conversation among ourselves, the feminine energy, is to moving and listening to what the masculine energy can share with us about the solution.
Yeah. One thing that I like to, I say this many times because as Nama mentioned, like being a minority, we can talk about minority in different scales, different types, anything. But what I have experienced in the Web3, also in my engineer field, all the time I always was looking to use the thing that made me minority to make me unique. And nowadays it's kind of fun because we are in Web3 and then we are doing content creation, we are building the brands, the projects. It's all about being completely different from the others. So why would we not, as women, men, or whatever, we use what we have as in that moment, making us minority to make us really empowered at that situation, make you really unique at that moment. That is how I like to look at this, but it's still, what I guess is my perspective, I still think that this kind of moment that we have right here happens so little, so little, not often as should. Literally yesterday, I think many women were in the event we had in the afternoon with many women, and I little didn't know no one there. I was terrified. I'm not used to be with women, by the way, I'm just with the guys most of the time. So I was terrified. So I guess, like, I don't know what you guys think about this, but how we can push to have this conversation, why we can push to have all men in this room, not more just women, you know, how we can push this.
No, there are men in this
There
room.
are
Yeah. Right.
I can see them. You might not, but I can see them.
Thank you for joining us. That's an amazing question, and I think the first step is to onboard women, right, and educate, because this is still new technology, and there's a lot of talented women that still don't know what's going on, what's our NFTs, what are blockchains. So us as women, right, and as men as well, it's our job to more women, trying to be inclusive when we make this type of event. I think it's important, when you're hosting panels, when you're hosting any type of event, to include women, right? Not to just include them at the end or just to kind of give you an insight of like what they think, but also give them the opportunity to lead the conversation, to be the part of the conversation. So I think that's like something that is really needed and the first step, to get this started.
Well, I partially agree with you, if you don't mind. I'd say we are just exporting a problem that happened in Web 2 in real life, and we try to just export it in Web 3 and try to solve it. We couldn't solve it in Web 2. How would we solve it in Web 3 if we just repeat the same kind of discussions and say we need to empower, educate, and it is a part of it, but it's not all of it. One part of it that we're missing here is extracting susceptibility. What I mean by that is Web3 has a language as a community type of language, meaning most of the collection got pumped, they pumped because, and we can see it again with meme coins, there's a lot of vulgarity in it. But if you take it personally, you would feel that it is pointed at you when let's say a collection like called Crypto Dick Butts, okay, it's literally excuse me, but that's the name of the collection, yes. Crypto Dick Butts. And if you're a woman, you look at it and you're like, oh, that doesn't make sense to me. But this is a language. This is just a language. You shouldn't look at it as being a woman or me being a man. And what was good about the NFTs at the beginning is that we didn't know who were behind the pictures. One of the biggest holder of punks is a woman. She has like an ape punk, which is very valuable. You have Archik, she's a woman as well. But you have a lot of women in the space that at first we all thought they were men, But when we understood they were women, it didn't change our perspective on that. So I think if you label yourself as being a woman in this space, you start with a problem. If you label yourself as being a man in this space, you also start with a problem. So one of the possibilities to change that is to look at it from another perspective. You are what you bring in the space. You're not your gender, you're not your nationality, you're not a minority. If you start by labeling yourself as a minority, I could do the same. I'm a Moroccan, I'm an Arab. For others, I might be a Muslim, depending on how you look at it. But then I can label myself as a minority as well. A black guy could do the same. A Native American could do the same. So we should stop that and start saying what is the value you're bringing in the space, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree 1000% with that, but then gets in a moment where I still have kids. I'm gonna post a picture, I'm gonna show, and then always gonna have that question or that moment where people gonna think maybe she's here because it's a she. I literally say like, I don't care who is behind. I literally don't care. This is my body, nothing else. It's about, I don't have gender, I don't have anything, I'm John. I'm this stuff. I build what I build, I'm gonna prove my things by the stuff I do. But people don't think like that. They mostly all the time we're gonna
All of them.
Yeah, not
Focus
all
on
of
those
them.
who don't think like that. You wouldn't change the mind of someone who's sick. He is sick or she is sick. And you couldn't do that. You need guys to focus on the people who are doing what World of Women is doing a fantastic job. They're doing a fantastic job of inclusion. There's a lot of men who are holders of World of Women, who respect women, who love women for what they're doing. I'd say yes, you have tits. I do have tits as well, you know. So
That's true.
that's what my mother-in-law
remember
used to
me
say,
that.
you know, and I don't take it personally, you know.
No, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, no, so what you're saying, it's so special and important, and I totally agree, but I think that it's a deeper conversation than just the way we show up. It's true. So that's why I think Vanessa was mentioning the education, and because I believe that we need to do it on 3 levels: on the physical level, on the mental level, and on the emotional level. And then we need to come to the table, because I'm saying you, not you personally, but I say that the masculine. I say I don't like to call it men, because this he, she, they. I get confused. The masculine energy. Okay, it doesn't matter which the body is, because we know women. We do have part of us is also we are masculine and feminine energy in us. So part of the whole conversation, in my opinion, is how are we moving from showing up, yes, of course, to being being molded into the 2 communities that you guys gonna feel like you have a responsibility on us, for us, to bring us closer.
It's the vision. It's only the goal and the vision. So if we have a common goal and a common vision,
right,
you don't care who's who. So I think we don't have a common vision in Web3. Like people.
Web3 is worse than you mentioned. Web3 is worse than Web2.
Yeah, but there is no common ground and common vision. If we say Web3 is the internet we want our kids to use, if we say Web3 is the internet that we want safer for women, for scams, because we can do authenticity, because we can do proof with blockchain, then we have a common interest in Web3. And if there is a common interest that we all agree upon, then you don't care who's doing what and who is who. But the problem right now in Web3 is a lack of vision of what we're building. We don't have a common vision. Everyone is talking about money. Yes, money is a huge part of it, but wealth here is not only money. As you say, there is different level. Wealth is just like money is just part of it. But what are we building? What are we doing here?
I think it's also like important, you know, like if we're moving forward, right, from Web 2 to Web 3, and we already know what are the flaws from Web 2, the goal is to improve, right? To improve those things that we shouldn't feel scammed, that to come on a mission. And I love Web 3 because, you know, like you said, when you come to Web3, it shouldn't really matter like who's behind the PFP, right? Anyone can hide. It doesn't matter if you're a female or a male, but what matters is like what you bring to your table. But obviously, like if we were able to walk together, we were able to change the language, I think come together and make a clear vision, I think things can move forward, because I feel like we're calling it Web3, but we're actually living in Web2, because there's kind of no different. It's the same still. Like, so here we're trying to come together and see like how we can collaborate, right? Make a difference. So for me, it's important. I'm not saying that only women should be educated, but I feel everyone should be educated so we can move forward, because if we don't do that, we're just going on a cycle and calling it Web3 for no reason, because we're leaving Web2. So that mentality has to change. And you know, it's hard because you cannot control, like you said, those people that are sick in the head or something like that. But like when you show up, right, like, and you just say you're a woman, you start being treated a little bit different in the space. When I started in the space, I actually started with a Women in Tech Museum and, you know, all the projects that I have, because I saw that it was man dominant, right? And then I had to act like the man, talk like a man. If not, you know, I was not going to be seen. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that, because I have a lot to bring to the table. And that's why I start showing up every day and building and like, hey, I am a woman, and to this day, I'm not ashamed or try to hide behind like my PFP, like, you know, I'm not, like, I trying to every day help. If I see like, you know, women and in the Web3 community, I try to onboard them, right? I try to put them in my community, so together we feel like we're more powerful, we have more visibility. But in spaces, yeah, it's still like, you know, like you said, not everybody has the clear mind, but if we come together, which is needed, you know, we can make a difference and make Web3 and, I don't know, Web4 and whatever comes next, right?
I fully agree with you. You're 100% right to me right now, rather than before. But let's speak about the elephant in the room. Okay, that you said that on a tweet, and I thought it was fantastic. When you say the space is or was male dominant, the way I heard that a lot in this space is like, if we men were guilty of that. It's like, it's male dominant because somehow we don't want women to enter the space. That's how it feels, not as you say it here, huh? But this is how it feels. And we can't be guilty of that. We would be guilty if there were no room for you to enter and there was a door saying no woman allowed, which is not the case. There is a language. And if you respect that language, meaning if you accept to be vulgar, if you accept to play the game of memes, if you play the game of exchanging mean pictures and laugh about it and don't take yourself too seriously, then you will be treated like a man, or you will be treated like a woman, and it will be the same. But there is a language barrier, and you have to, don't take it, people in this space are not taking themselves too serious. And we can see it on Twitter. The moment you start feeling serious about what you're doing, everything will not make sense. People are flipping pictures of monkeys or dick butts, buying meme coins called anus. This is the reality of this space. And if you have kids, I do have kids, and I see what type of videos my kid is looking at, and I can see that what is happening in Web3 is most definitely the future of what my kid is going to interact with in the future. Because the culture of meme is very important. Once you understand that language, you enter that door, you're gonna be treated exactly the same way as a man or as a woman. I can assure you that 100%.
Yeah, one thing that I want to say here that I think talking about language is kind of very complex actually, and I have been like reading some books about this. But one thing that you mentioned, and I think like makes a lot of sense, in Brazil, Latin America, because it's where I'm from, and when I was like working in the field as engineer, and I had these problems about being a female, and the guys didn't respect because I was a female. I wasn't mad with them. It's not their fault, you know. It's how we have created as people. Basically.
Education.
Yeah, it's our education basically. They don't have fault. I don't have fault. I understand that here in the space, in the Web3, the memes that we have, I literally, I understood that part where this is how we were created. We are kind of, we had this stuff where we know we want to think this is, we can laugh, or this is not, we cannot laugh about this. But the thing is, the guys are not the fault. It's not their problem. And the moment any of us like really think that this meme or this stuff is like being against us somehow, is more your problem than anything else. It's your perspective that needs to change somehow. And yeah.
No, that's really true. But I think we each should say a final like point, because we are running out of time. So I will start with I just want to leave you with one thought, because I really think a lot deeper than just this conversation. This is just an initiation of the conversation. But I think that if we are not going to dig into this conversation, we are missing on a huge opportunity for the blockchain and the Web3, what it actually here to do, and how advantage we can take with the technology, which is phenomenal, and how positive it can be. For example, like I mentioned to you, Nizar, before, contracts, smart contracts for marriage, for divorce. I mean, very clear abandonment. We have generation of abandonment, and each and every one. If you look at yourself, when I talk to men about it, they are like, oh my God, my sister is, her husband left, and she's raising her kids on her own. Oh my God, my grandmother happened. So it's us all going generation, and I think we have an amazing opportunity to bring this conversation to the surface through art, through memes, through tokenization, through the ecosystem, and so we should really continue the conversation.
Thank you so much. If I had to leave you with something here, I'd like to talk about responsibility. Responsibility is a word that we're using, in my opinion, very wrong. People think responsibility is feeling guilty about doing something, or feeling guilty about something that might happen. I think responsibility is about how you respond to something, and how you act upon something that happens to you. And our responsibility here is to respond to what is going on in space. And how do you respond with that? You respond with that with a posture, about a voice. You have to create your own voice and say your own truth. And this is how we're gonna make this a new era of interaction for us and for our kids. This is what I think.
And since we're wrapping up, I just wanted to say, going back to going to education, you were right when you said that, it's not your fault as a man, right? But like you were saying, this goes back to generations. A lot of things that happen to women, right? It's not that we don't have the opportunity, or it's the time, right? All the responsibilities that we have, so sometimes we cannot catch on that wave. So it is our job to educate on board, just to and change the language so it can be more inclusive, because you're talking about our kids, and I'm a mother of 2 kids, and I would not like to my kids talk how I see people talking into space. So yeah, it's very important moving forward to on board and educate, just for everybody, to make it inclusive.
Okay, I can't say anything,
No, you can
but I just would say actually I truly don't care who is behind. I'm completely doxed. I don't use PFP, like NFT PFP nowadays, which I think is, we should all come back to the stuff of using the NFTs, because it's the best. I mean, we really don't judge about who is there. I think that is the best. But it's still, just really don't get anything just because of the gender. Just doesn't care. We are all in the same ground. We are all human beings, and we can all make it unbelievable things. And that's my final thought, I think.
Yay!
Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, everybody, for the sake of time, we're going to bring the scoop right up.